Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time we've got the pleasure of watching Zenhatter from the Asia server playing in his Tier 8 French premium heavy tank, the FCM 50T. Now, I hesitate kind of before I say heavy tank, and that's because this thing really performs a lot more like a medium. It is fast, really fast. Its power to weight ratio is over 18.5 and it has a top speed limit of 51 kilometers an hour. And also, it has a 90mm main armament, which is a lot more like you would get on a Tier 8 medium, right? It's only kind of the Carnarvon that really has a low caliber gun on a Tier 8 heavy tank. And so the FCM 50T, a medium tank in a heavy tank's body, possibly. And also one thing that I always think about this vehicle is how long left are we really going to be seeing it available in the shop for? Wargaming are kind of on a quest to be removing all of the vehicles with preferential matchmaking, and you can understand why. It's very hard to balance tanks that have preferential matchmaking because you kind of have to make them tier 7.5. And where does tier 7.5 tanks really fit in the game? And if they make them as good as tier 8 tanks, and to be honest, the FCM 50T can usually punch above its weight even at tier 8, then how do they compete with... They just become overpowered, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's really what we saw with the Type 59. Eventually that vehicle had to be nerfed because it was so immensely popular. Now the FCM 50T, although it does have its status as a heavy tank, and it has 120mm of frontal armor, that armor is not very well angled, as we can see here. So that means that even if you angle the tank pretty much like this, you're not really getting above maybe like 180, 200mm of effective armor. And so what you're going to see Zenhatter do here, after he puts a round into the T-34-85, is over-angle his hull armor. And this is actually one of the most sensible things you can probably do in the FCM 50T. Because as you can see, the Ferdinand, who was probably aiming at the central mass of the tank, by the time he fires, the shell goes more towards here, and hopefully even towards the track. And that's really one of the only ways that you're going to be avoiding taking damage in this tank. Now the turret armor is also 120mm, and it's also a very big fat tank with rather mediocre side armor. Well, when I say mediocre, 80mm can never be described as mediocre, but for a heavy tank, it's just such a big target that it's not usually effective. So the FCM 50T usually has to use its excellent 10 degrees of gun depression to be able to work ridge lines, and it's also its mobility to be able to evade the line of fire from the enemy tanks rather than rely on its armor to be able to survive. So to go back what I was talking about, the fact that how long is the FCM 50T going to be in the game? When I was at Tank Fest, on the accounts, there was a tank that I don't think, well, I haven't been able to have a go on a test server, on some kind of press account or anything. It was the AMX M4 MLE49, which is currently in the game, and I think it's being tested by super test players. And I really think that Wargaming will probably be trying to replace the FCM 50T with that vehicle eventually. However, not for now, and maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe Wargaming have no intention of replacing the FCM 50T at all. And when that vehicle comes in, maybe we're just going to see multiple French premium heavy tanks at tier 8. Something that we're seeing a lot of, for example, with the Chinese medium tanks. I thought for sure that when we saw the Type 59 pattern come into the game, that Wargaming might be looking to replace the T-34-3, which also has preferential matchmaking, but that certainly hasn't been the case. So maybe Wargaming have had a change of stance with that, or maybe it's just was never their intention in the first place. So Zenhatter is having a flawless game so far. He's picked up 5 kills for the 2,191 damage that he's dealt. He's didn't invest in the east of the map at the start of the game, and that's because nobody was holding that. And so now the enemy team have tried to push through to be able to flank. Zenhatter did what he needed to do. He cleared out most of the town, and now he's turned around to be able to defend his base. So a bit of an annoying bounce there off another tier 8 tank with preferential matchmaking, the Type 59, but it doesn't last him very long as he does get shut down. So Zenhatter does pull off his his fourth ricochet of the game there, angling his armor very well for the Type 59 and punishing him. He's just trying to hope that the Type 59 side scrapes and shoots him. Yes, but unfortunately it looks like it goes through the lower plate. Yeah, right on the cusp there, rather than hitting the side armor. Oh, that's an unfortunate low roll. Only rolling for 204 out of the 240 average damage that this tank gets means that Type 59 is alive to put yet another round into his vehicle. But nevertheless, Zenhatter picks up his 7th kill of the game and now starts to hunt the T-3485. And every single tank on his team is now dead. And it's Zenhatter and 2 artilleries versus, gosh, how many is that? Is that 7 tanks on the enemy team? Or should we say 4 tanks and 3 self-propelled guns? But luckily, no tier 8s left on the enemy team, so Zenhatter has still got some health that he should be able to work with. The T-25-2 completely fluffs his shot and allows Zenhatter to take him down, who now turns around on 8 kills. That's a Radley Walters medal, and there are still 6 vehicles left on the enemy team. Zen seems to be very keen on protecting his artillery, and the T-3485 came round to put the final shot into that M40-43, and Zen was in the way to be able to prevent the T-3485 from doing that. Now there's a sneaky Chaffee trying to make his way round, and probably one of the statistically strongest player on the enemy team. This Chaffee knows that the FCM-50 is not tunnel visioning, and he's trying to get out. But Zenhatter finds a shot through the window, luckily avoids one of the artillery shells, and the other one only does 12 damage. I guess it's quite nice to have those big fat tracks over the side of this tank, and the 80mm of side armor, meaning that that rather large caliber shell from the M40-43 actually ends up doing precious little. But there are still 3 self-propelled guns on the enemy team, so he's constantly got to be thinking about evading their fire. He puts a shot into the LTTB, finishing off that tier 7 Soviet light tank and the last remaining tank on the enemy team. Now he only has to deal with the self-propelled guns. Great stuff there. Zenhatter very aware of the artillery, using the cover to his advantage, waiting for the shots, but they don't seem to be coming. So now he has turned his, I think it was a 1 versus 7 on the enemy team. Well, sorry, not 1 versus 7. Should we say a 3 versus 7 now into a 3 versus 3? And when you're in this kind of a situation, you are probably absolutely sweating it out right now. You don't want to be knocking down those trees, Zenhatter. What are you doing? Come on. Calm down, buddy. Good. He avoids the second tree. Will he hit the lamppost? Not quite. Obviously, the artillery knew he was here, and so any kind of trees knocked down, they might try and blind fire. And when you're on 668 health, that's a lot, but it's not enough to be able to take a hit, probably, at least direct, from the very large caliber self-propelled guns. You've got to deal with that tier 8, a tier 7, and the tier 6. The M40-43 already picked up 2 kills this game, will be a significant threat. And another reason why you're going to be sweating in this kind of a matchup is you're on 11 kills. That's absolutely outrageous for any tier 8 tank. Maybe there is the chance to be able to get the one, well, the one that nobody gets is probably what we're going to be calling it, the Rosanai Heroes Medal. So where are the artilleries likely to be here? I also like what the self-propelled guns on Zenhatter's team are doing as well. They're not just sitting in base and waiting for shots. They're moving with him. They're trying to, I guess, close the distance, because obviously when you're closer towards the enemy artillery, you're less likely to miss. Bit of an FPS bug here going on with that fellow. But the M40-43 looks like he has a better connection. So he's managed to get himself into position, and the M40-43 is waiting for, I guess, Zenhatter to be able to get the spots off. Now, where are the artilleries likely to be hiding? Well, on Runeberg, they're either going to be up here, or they're likely to be in this little pocket down here, just to the other side of the cap circle. They could also be hiding in these bushes along here in this building area, and for all we know, they might have been able to go into the town by now and try to set up some ambushes for Zenhatter. So really, Runeberg, probably one of the trickiest maps, I'd say, to be digging artillery out at the end of the game. But Zenhatter looks like he's definitely showing his experience here by going through the bushes along the ridge line. That should be able to conceal him. And now he wants to try and get into a proxy spotting location, see if there are any artillery in this location. He stops to see if they're going to be hiding in the bushes along here. Doesn't look like he's getting spotted. Now this is really the danger zone. This is where you don't want to be stopping. He probably wants to close the distance right now. There you go, there's one of the artilleries. But it looks like it's actually the AMX-13 F3 that managed to spot the M40-43. We'll then be able to find a shot on this tier 8 American self-propelled gun. Just about. Yes! 229 damage done. Strike 1 and I guess strike 2 for the M40-43. Only now requiring 1 shell from this 90mm, the FCM-50T, to take him down. I really like what this AMX is doing. He's basically taking all of the pressure off Zen Hatter now. All of the enemy artillery are focusing on him, which allows Zen, which frankly is the most important tank to have in this kind of a matchup, well, at least fighting artillery at the end, to have put his full focus on the artillery with very little threat of risking his hit points. He comes forwards. We still haven't spotted where that M44 is going to be. He could be coming around the corner right now. Oh, Zen, come on, don't fluff it right at the end of the game, buddy. Puts a shot into the dirt. Will he be able to find one into this M4043? Yep, that one was an easy one. 12th kill of the game, 2 artillery left. And there's the M44 that we were talking about. The M44 doesn't quite manage to make a shot. Will he be able to hit one? Yeah, Zen puts his first round into the M44. And the AMX is going to make his way round the corner, probably to try and sneak up behind this gentleman. Oh, that was risky. Zen, don't you know those things fire horrible, horrible heat rounds? But I guess you wanted to take your chances before the GW Panther was flanking you, and probably quite right to do so. The GW Panther was on his way to try and put one into the back of Zen Hatter, but it looks like now the GW Panther is turned around to face the AMX. Some great work between Zen and the artillery at the end of this game. And there you go. 14th kill in the FCM 50T, 5,555 damage done. Is that a coincidence? I think not. What an absolutely fantastic game for Zen Hatter here. You know what? I hope Zen Hatter said a big thank you to Azu109 and Binhamuk. Oh my gosh, that guy's played 71,000 games of World of Tanks. That Super Pershing has played 67,000 games of World of Tanks. Are there really that many active players on the Asia server? That's absolutely preposterous. As the active play by those 2 artillery at the end of the game really did help Zen Hatter secure this one without making it that much of a nail biter. So those 14 kills net Zen Hatter a medal that I've never been able to get myself, the Rosenai Heroes medal. He's one of only 3 people in the world to have got that this patch, as well as a Pascucci's medal for his ruthless takedown of the 3 self-propelled guns at the end of the game, and surprisingly a high caliber for his 5,555 damage done in this tier 8 game, netting him 1,878 base experience points, and he made a cool 99,000 credits profit. Zen Hatter, congratulations to you on this mammoth game, and thank you for uploading it for us all to enjoy. And also, Zen Hatter has his own YouTube channel. You can find a link in the description down below. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. And click through up here or use that more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen to see my full tank review on the FCM 50T. And let me know in the comments down below, what is the premium tank in the game that you have achieved the most kills in? For me, it's 10 kills in an AMX CDC. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.